Hello, I'm Paul Hargreaves, CEO of Cotswold Fayre and speaker and author of a book called Forces for Good. Been asked 5 questions, which I'm going to go through now. First one is, how can food and drink producers evolve to remain competitive during the Covid-19 pandemic? Well, the exciting thing about all this actually is how much is happening. There are some companies clearly having a really rough time of it at the moment. But what's been a joy to see over the last couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks now, is the amount of collaboration and adaptation that's going on. There's companies coming together, working together, and there's companies that are changing entirely their whole business model in order to cope and evolve with these very difficult circumstances. Just to give you a couple of examples of that, I know many farm shops have started a home delivery service, which is fantastic. One has converted their cafe into a packing area for boxes. Clearly, the cafe is not being used at the moment. And then they're doing free deliveries to local households. And in fact, this farm shop told me that even the normal shoppers in the farm shop are 2/3 of them they've never seen before. So there's a huge opportunity here for retailers to gain loyalty and trust with new customers who will hopefully, after this is over, and it will pass, they will have a much bigger customer base. Second question is, how can the industry be conscious of sustainability during this time? I do think that sustainability and increased desire to really make some radical changes in the area of sustainability is going to come out of this. It might not seem like that at the moment, but when we have the carbon figures in a few months' time, when there's been virtually no aeroplanes in the sky, vehicle travel is down to 1955 levels, I just read a few minutes ago. That will make a difference to the carbon in the atmosphere. I hope it makes a significant difference, which will, I think, give us all the encouragement and hope that we can actually reverse climate change. We can do it. Third question, what is your advice to wholesale producers who are seeing their opportunities dwindle due to coronavirus? So obviously we're fortunate, we're a wholesaler into the retail sector, but there are many more wholesalers into the food service sector, and of course they have seen their business almost disappear overnight. It's tough. I'll be honest about that, but it's about adaptability, about collaboration. If there's food service wholesalers out there at the moment who are struggling, there are ways we can help push their products through to retailers. So retail is where it's going to be at least the next 2 or 3 months before food service comes back, and that's where people should be focusing their efforts. The retailers crying out for all sorts of stuff at the moment. Question 4, are there any brands that you would want to acknowledge for their efforts or response to the pandemic? Those companies with good culture, with happy employees, are generally still carrying on, still going as normal if they can. And some other companies have completely fallen apart because people are not happy being there, and therefore given the opportunity to not be at work, they've taken it. So it is becoming clearer, I think, of the companies that have a good culture in them and those that perhaps need to change that as a result of this interruption in business. Number 5 is, and final one, how have you personally had to adapt your business or style of work in the light of the pandemic? So we're obviously a food and drink business, as most of you are. So we could have carried on working in the office totally legally. We haven't done that, mainly due to the guys and girls who work for me not feeling safe coming to work. Those on public transport, certainly. It was a bit of a stretch. We had 2 busiest weeks ever, apart from Christmas, and at the same time as that, we were gradually moving out around 18 people who don't normally, or probably never, worked at home. The rest work at home quite a bit, but there was more than half our people had never worked at home before, so it was quite a challenge with the technology and getting bits of kit like webcams, which seem in very short supply at the moment. So we've done that. There's 2 or 3 people still in the office, and everyone else is working at home. Challenges with that are culture. We have a happy workplace. People like being there. And generally people are quite gregarious. So if they've never worked at home before, it's probably been tough couple of weeks. We're using video technology quite a bit. We're encouraging team meetings on Microsoft Teams and trying to have a bit of fun while we all work in our separate houses. Actually, one more thing. I do think any kind of interruption in our normal lives can be very good for us. We had a huge interruption crisis in our business. I won't go into details here, but in 2014, it was awful. We almost went out of business. Terrible time, very, very stressful. However, looking back on it, it was the best thing that ever happened to us. We came out of that with the group of people that wanted to take Cotswold Fayre forward, and with a renewed sense of purpose and vision. And now I think it's the best thing that ever happened to us. Didn't so at the time. So if you're feeling help at the moment, then use the opportunity to stop, reflect, think about the next stage for your life, for your business, and treat this time as a very valuable hiatus, if you like. Most of us rush around with our eyes on the floor in our little furrow with blinkers on, and we sometimes don't see the bigger picture. I would encourage you just to stop. Don't watch the news, actually. If you obviously a bit if you want to keep informed, but don't spend all day watching the news. Don't spend all day watching TV. Just spend some time walking in the countryside if you can, or just sitting there reflecting with music on, and think about the next step for your business and for your life. It can be a very, very vital time for all of us, and we can come out of this stronger as people, as businesses, and with a lot more to look forward to for the future. So thanks for listening. See you all again soon.